ladies and gentlemen, this is a true privilege. On Solving Healthcare, we got Dr. Paul Lem from Spartan BioScience talking about his contribution and his company's contribution to COVID-19. Thank you so much for appearing on the show, my friend.
My pleasure, Kwadwo. Thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. So I don't even know where to start. Maybe even just, Paul, tell us like the story on how you develop testing, because your company originally has nothing to do with coronavirus.
Yes, that's right. So we've been around since 2005. And so we have become one of the world leading companies in portable DNA analyzers. And so here's our device. This is our third generation device, world's smallest DNA analyzer, about the size of a coffee cup. Mm-hmm. The way it works is you collect a swab, it goes into the cartridge, and then you get your results. So we had already been releasing commercial tests for other applications. And our customers include Mayo Clinic, CDC, New York State Department of Health, Fortune 500 companies. Mm-hmm. And that's how we had already this platform, and we already had these scientists who knew how to make tests. My background is I'm a medical doctor. My specialty was infectious disease and microbiology. I had been following the COVID-19 pandemic around the world. And then when the CDC released their COVID-19 test, we thought it'd be a good idea to port over the CDC's validated test onto our platform.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So can you tell me how, like, and I guess in more detail, how the test works? So obviously you mentioned it's a swab, but are we still testing DNA? Are we testing, like, is it PCR? Like, how does the test work?
That's a great question. So this is a specially designed proprietary swab that collects genetic material. For the COVID-19 test, you can either take a swab from the front of the nose or the throat. And then inside this test cartridge, it extracts the genetic material. So in COVID-19, that'd be RNA. And then it uses PCR, polymerase chain reaction, Nobel Prize winning chemistry, to amplify up that genetic material 1 billion times. Inside this device, there's an optical detection system that will detect the fluorescence from that billion-fold amplification.
Wow. And so how, like, what it always comes down to, how reliable is the test?
The great news about our test is because we are using the CDC's test, extremely accurate. The CDC validated their COVID-19 test on over 2,000 respiratory clinical samples and found it had a 100% accuracy rate compared with DNA sequencing. So we've simply used the CDC's test, and that was one of the reasons we were able to develop the test so fast on our platform.
So I just want to make sure I understood that correctly. It is 100% accurate. So like if you ask, so for our medical folk, the specificity and science, or specificity and sensitivity, mm-hmm. Would they both be 100%?
That's what the CDC validated their test using over 2,000 samples. They found it was 100% sensitive and 100% specific on over 2,000 respiratory clinical samples. That's why we decided to take the CDC's test, because they'd already done all that validation.
Wow. Let me just reinforce this Canadian company representing from Ottawa. This is incredible. So in terms of like the turnaround time for testing, what kind of time frame are we talking about?
The first version, we got Health Canada approval last weekend. It gives results in less than an hour. And our goal is within several weeks to release an upgrade to our software where we should be able to get those results down to about 30 minutes.
Holy crap. I was going to say a different word there. So like I'm just walking through this like everyone's 4 years old. I'm worried I have COVID. You're going to take a sample from my nose or my mouth. You're going to put it into that, I don't know what they call the machine. It's going to, with 100% accuracy, let me know within 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what time I'm getting that test done, whether I'm COVID positive or not.
Exactly right. So with our device, you actually get those results right away. The way it works now for COVID-19 testing is you got to take that swab, you got to ship it off to a big city like Toronto where they have mainframe DNA analyzers. And that's why it can take days or weeks to get your results back.
Oh my God. Okay. And so like, what is the scalability? Because we always hear about in the States, for example, that, there are some of these rapid tests, but maybe they might run out of tests, they might run out of reagent. Like, what's the time, like the scalability?
Another great thing about our technology is we actually manufacture our cartridges and our swabs here in Ottawa. So we're not subject to that same supply chain shortage of swabs that's affecting tests all around the world. In terms of scaling up, by the summertime, we should hit several 100,000 tests per week that we're shipping out. On an
Holy
annual basis,
shit.
that'll be over 5 million tests.
My God. So like, and what's are people purchasing the tests now? Like, are you like, who's using these tests or asking for these tests now?
Everyone is asking for these tests, right? Everyone from governments to corporations to foreign governments, foreign corporations, even individuals. So what we've decided to do is, for the first phase, we are going to supply the federal and provincial governments. The second phase will be Canadian corporations. And then after that, after we satisfy the domestic need, that's when we'll open up to the rest of the world.
My God, you guys are, this is unbelievable. So, and in terms of governments, like our territories that are asking, have you been reached out by all provinces, or is it some specific provinces?
I think the deals that have been announced to this point have been the federal government, Ontario, Quebec, Alberta. I think that's it for now. We are in discussions with the other provinces, though.
But
and
like, sorry, go ahead.
Hopefully we'll announce those contracts soon.
Wow. Because and like I'm 4 years old, there is no other available rapid testing, PCR testing currently that I'm aware of in Canada. Is that fair to say?
That's right. As far as I know, we are Canada's only portable DNA analyzer company, and we have the only rapid COVID-19 test. And what we've heard from some of our provincial customers is we only have a handful of competitors around the world, 2 in the United States and 2 in Europe. And those other companies, their countries have been locking down their supply and forbidding exports. And that's why we've decided to prioritize Canada first, because as far as we can tell, we're the only source of these rapid COVID tests.
Wow. And is it fair to say too, like we mentioned the numbers, like my head is everywhere. So I apologize for our listeners if I'm not answering or getting asking certain questions, but with that kind of scalability, like that sounds like it will be accessible for most scenarios that I could think of, like whether it's, before an operation, before coming into hospital, before going to my dentist. Is that the kind of numbers we're talking about?
That's right. Back to those phases. The first phase is the governments. The next phase is Canadian corporations. Everyone's now asking, how do we get back to work? And I think if you look at the example of a place like South Korea, you require mass testing with rapid results.
Yeah.
And I won't be surprised if you do start seeing these before people get surgeries, they'll have a rapid COVID-19 test. We've gotten emails from surgeons where they're telling us that they've literally canceled all their elective surgeries, including cancer patients. All they need to get back on track is they need a rapid COVID-19 test.
That's exactly it. This is why I'm so excited and to be talking to you, because this is how we reintegrate into society. Like, we know about our numbers being down right now. This is April 17th when we're doing this interview. And right now our hospitals are empty. No elective surgeries and are happening, but to be able to have a means to be able to do this is how we're going to be able to reintegrate, be able to make sure our patients aren't suffering and having negative sequelae by this prolonged isolation. So this is I don't know if people, I hope they can appreciate how huge this is. Like, I got out of my chair when I saw this on the news the other day, your wonderful face telling the world that, we got these rapid tests available. So I mean, this is the future. This is what we need. I'm just trying to think of any other comments or questions that you could think of that the people would want to know about Spartan BioScience.
We're a proudly Canadian company. We've been building our expertise for 14 years, and I'm glad my team and I, we feel really fortunate that we can help Canada when there's such a huge need. We're all in this together.